Greetings from Heinz Field. Another dud. 3 out of 4. 13 turnovers. No takeaways. I was going to say that was against Major League NFL teams, but Houston's in there and Houston counts. So can't say against Major League teams because Texans count, Jaguars. If the Texans count, Jaguars count. But 3 out of 4 games, absolutely miserable play from the Titans. Just don't know what the hell's going on. Mike Vrabel says it's not the messaging. Ryan Tannehill says it's not the messaging, but they've been preaching turnovers, ball security they preach it all season long. They've certainly been preaching it since the Houston game. Turns it over 4 times, 5 times, 4 times. It's just impossible to figure out what the hell this team is doing right now. And they're handing away the ball. They're handing away the number 1 seed. I don't think it's possible for them to hand away the division, but who knows? Downing needs to turn over play call duties. Andrew, that's not happening. You know that. They should have run the ball more today. I think they ran it 42 times. It's hard to run it more than 42 times. They thought that there was a good play that they got the distance on. It's not uncommon for teams to call plays that are a little bit short of the sticks, expecting somebody to get to the sticks. Offensive line can't pass block. Offense can't stop turning the ball over. And, it's only so much you can ask the defense to do. They only gave up 12 points off of 4 turnovers, most of which were in good field position for the Steelers, who didn't have to move the ball very much after they got the ball. So just deadly stuff. And I don't know where they go from there. They got to forget it in a hurry and get about their business and play better against San Francisco. A.J. Brown's not going to fix this thing single-handedly. I do expect him to be back on Thursday. But they've got to do some things. I mean, it's amazing if you think about it that running the ball is not the problem here. They ran the ball at a pretty good clip, 4.8 yards a carry. Foreman, 22 for 108, 4.9 a carry. Hilliard got 5.4 a carry. McNichols, the worst of the lot, he got 4.3 a carry. And Tannehill got 3.6 a carry. So running the ball, which you would, I think give them the most leeway on because Henry's missing, isn't the thing that they're having the problems with. So we shall see. Julio injuries deflating, somebody says, but I mean, what has Julio done? He hasn't done a damn thing. So I don't know how much you can miss a guy who, gets himself 1 target in the first half. So this is true. Somebody on Facebook says unreal how the 2 sides had flipped. Nobody's scared of anybody in the passing game. Certainly, I mean, you look down and Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, Cody Hollister, and Racey McMath, they're collectively on the field sometimes. And if not McMath, then Rodgers. It's hardly scaring anybody. If Lamb was better than Quessenberry, I believe he'd be out there. Lamb has been really bad in the times that we've seen him. Quessenberry's not good either. I think he's better than he is. I'm not saying it was a great play call, a do-or-die play, to not have a guy pass the sticks, but they also don't have, a lot of great options out there. So. Well, I'm sorry it took you this long to agree with me on Quest being horrible. Wilson and Radens have certainly made this unfixable this year. There's nothing that's fixable in terms of personnel and going into week 15. And 9-5 is not a good record given the games that they've handed away. I mean, they should have beat the Jets. They should have beat the Texans. You are what your record says you are. I understand that. They shouldn't have lost this game. So there's 3 games. They should have won at least one of them, and they should be 10-4, and then they'd be really in control. But that said, with the talent that they have on this team right now, it'd be pretty ridiculous for them to be the top team in the AFC. So I'll agree with you there. I don't think, it's a little early to line up the playoff matchups with everything that could go on. I think the Colts will lose next week to Arizona. Um, of course, Julio's going to miss time, Andrew Frill. You think Julio's going to go out of a game with a bad hamstring and be back in a week, be back in 4 days? Um, I don't think they'd beat the Colts in a playoff matchup right now, no. Sorry, Andrew, but I mean, you've been watching this. Well, no, Julio, A.J. Brown should be ready to come back this week. So Brown for Jones would be great. And I don't have Julio's money in front of me. Any chance that the wide receiver is being asked to block so much is an issue? Well, I mean, Josh Reynolds wasn't the right kind of receiver to ask to come here. I think they were thinking, well, here's a guy that blocks a little less, has a little less experience in it. We can ask him to come here, train him to do things our way, et cetera, et cetera. He wasn't a good fit. Julio, was productive in the games he played, but he was plenty hurt last year. He's a physical guy. And I think he blocked in Atlanta plenty as well. Cunningham did look good. I agree with that. Here's somebody else to the person that said 9-5 is not bad. When you start 8-2, 9-5 is bad. Yeah, I think Arizona had a really bad game today, but Hopkins being done for the regular season doesn't make the Cardinals bad. Colts could beat them. Certainly, Colts are very good right now. I agree with this, with Matt Carpenter, who says fixing turnovers is the single thing that can immediately improve with current personnel. Thing is, they've been preaching it, and it hasn't gotten fixed. So, I wrote my column today off of this game. Have they faced superior defenses at taking the ball away? No. Um, have they? Are they pressing? Yeah, some. Um, are there guys who aren't good enough out there? Well, Racey McMath is inexperienced and probably not that good. Um, I mean, he made several mistakes. I think that ignoring tight end was certainly one of them. He made a mistake on Ravens a year after he made a massive mistake on Isaiah Wilson. Um, but ignoring tight end was bad. What's up, Kemper? Um, well, he's saying his defense needs to keep up with the other team's defense. And you do need to get some turnovers of your own. They're not all luck. I mean, fumble recoveries are mostly luck. Forcing fumbles, there's a skill to it. Interceptions, setting people up and baiting people. There's a skill to it. Tannehill's decision making has not been good. The mishandled snap, really bad between Tannehill and Jones. They haven't had many of those, but to have one now seems really bad. Why do you have to live with Racey making mistakes? Other people have, I don't know. It's a 6th-round pick that they didn't expect to play offense. But if you think that he's going to make mistakes and you're not using his speed, which they aren't, then get Golden Tate in there. Didn't look Julio's way at all. They're not signing him to sell tickets. Their tickets didn't. It's not that. John Robinson's not doing anything to sell tickets. Sad part about Radunz, Aunt Deasy says, is that he can't play tackle. It is doubled in that he can't be a very good guard. Well, we don't know about him as a guard. He hasn't played much guard. I mean, he's not going to do anything this year. We'll see what he is next year. He's a wash this year. What else is on your mind, people? It's just hard right now to have a lot of faith in this team. I mean, his decision-making, Tannehill's decision-making is not good right now, and he doesn't have a lot of people to help him make good decisions. There's no separation. Look, they threw 3 deep balls. They threw one to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine that he should have caught. They threw another one to Nick Westbrook-Ikhine, and they threw one to Hollister. At least they threw some in this game. They haven't really thrown any. And at least it signals to the opponent, hey, we're willing to throw deep. We're going to throw deep. So to me, that's, somewhat significant. It's a change in stance from where they've been before that. Well, they're not settling for field goal. I mean, they're trying to score touchdowns. When they can't get a touchdown, then they're kicking a field goal. Yeah. Who is worse right now? This is a great question from Mark Sumter. Who is worse right now, the offensive line or the pass catchers? I'd say this: the offensive line at least is run blocking very well. So I imagine they'd say that the pass catchers are run blocking very well as well, but I don't give as much of a shit about that. So I would say that the offensive line, the pass catchers are worse. Pass catchers' number one job to me is to catch passes, to separate and catch passes. These guys can't separate really. Now, a lot of them are over their heads. This is not that true. I had a stat before the Jaguars game that since Henry went out, boxes were just as stacked as they have been. Nobody fearing any Titans wide receiver, and defenses have not changed since Henry's gone out. And the Titans are still running pretty well. So, I mean, Henry's super valuable, but things have not changed dramatically in how the Titans are being defended since Henry went out. On a short week, everything has moved up multiple days. Tomorrow's like a Wednesday, really. I thought he was on the move a reasonable amount today, Tannehill. saw him boot one time when there was actually a pocket. Well, at the end of the game, they were on a fourth down where they needed to get a first down. I agree with you. They don't take enough shots. There's a lot of reason for that, but I just mentioned 3 shots that they did take today, which is more than they've been taking. They don't have receivers who can get behind anybody, and Tannehill doesn't have any time. But they don't get PI calls in their favor. They don't have receivers that work back to the ball and try to work on that. I don't know why Pruitt seems to have fallen back there. All of you people loved Firkser. You told me how he was going to replace Jonnu, no problem. Firkser sucks. Swaim's on the field more because he blocks the best. So I don't know about why Pruitt seems to be losing some playing time. I'm waiting for a lot of you to come back on Firkser and admit that he sucks, because you were huge on him during the offseason. Firkser season, he's going to be the surprise of the league. I think it's really tough to judge Downing based on what he's had, but I don't think he's as big a problem as a lot of you want to make him out to be. Yeah, I don't prefer running short of the first down marker. I don't think everything has to be perfect around him, but I think a lot of things are really imperfect around him now. Juan, I think you're overrating the pass catchers. You think the best coordinator in the league is finding room for Cody Hollister? Like, you think Cody Hollister's good? Cody Hollister can't find room in the NFL. These are the people I'm talking to, Eric. If it wasn't you, I'm not talking to you. But I haven't heard from all the Firkser love people because people hide from their strong opinions. This is a very good point here from Ed Henry that Downing didn't do any fumbling today. I think Golden was brought in when they were thin, when Julio was out. Julio came back, and now I think Julio's probably going to be out, and I think Brown will be back. And they obviously don't feel any desperation to put Golden in, which means he's not doing anything special. I'd like to see him do it more, Jason, but I don't feel like they didn't do it at all. I saw Tannehill booting some today. They still got a game and a half lead on the division. I mean, they still got a game against. They get the magic number's 2. Any combination of 2 Titans wins and 2 Colts losses. I would think that they beat Houston on the road for sure. And I like Arizona to beat the Colts. I think that game's in Arizona. There's 2. I think AJ's back on Thursday. I just don't know how much he does, how soon. I think blaming the offensive coordinator for everything is the easiest thing to do in football. He took some shots today. One was his own doing. Another one was it was kind of play design where he's coming up the left side on the sideline. Wasn't really in position to slide. It was an 11-yard run on 1st and 10, I think. No, I don't think they'll be drafting a quarterback in the first round. First off, there are no quarterbacks worth drafting in the first round. So they got to ride out this roster. Sounds like rushing it to me, Eric. I wouldn't mess around. I don't have the remainder of the Chiefs' schedule in front of me, but I think they're sitting pretty. Well, a quarterback high is going to need to play relatively soon when those cap numbers make that difficult. They did self-scout themselves. It's hard. I mean, design plays make separation comes out of those bunch sets where you create some picks and rubs. They could do that more. Outside of that, separation comes from wiliness, physicalness, and speed. And again, I'm asking you, what are your expectations? Reasonable expectations for Nick Westbrook-Akina, Cody Hollister, and Racey McMahon. I think that some of you think those guys are better than they are because they're not very good. I mean, Nick Westbrook-Akina is good for what he is, which is like a 3/4. He's doing the best he can. Those other guys suck. All right, one or two more, and let's get out of here. Well, you can run past the sticks, but if you've got to come back to the ball, you've got to come back to the ball. So that's a combination problem. Play call, throw, the route, the defense. A lot of things that have a bearing on that. It's never just one thing. I mean, expectations for Julio were bigger than for Clowney, I'd say. Well, they couldn't pay Julio. They couldn't pay Johnny Smith what Johnny Smith got on the market. I don't know. I think if Saffold's ready to go, they'll play Saffold because they have a better chance of winning with Saffold, and they need to win. So many of you are about playing it cautious with the injured guys. I mean, they are generally cautious with the injured guys, but they play guys when they can play because they're trying to win games. All right. It's good to see all of you. I appreciate you coming. 6 a.m. flight. I think that means 4 a.m. wake up call, maybe 3:45. It's going to be great. Don't block the box, do lock the locks. Tomorrow, Outkick 360, me and Jonathan Hutton breaking this and a lot of things down. Don't miss us, 2 to 5 Central. Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube. And if you can't make it live, then you can catch us Apple Podcasts, Twitch, Google, all the places that you get your podcasts. We will be there. Must listen. Catch us. I appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Go read the column right now. Have a good night. Stay warm. And hopefully better days are ahead for you. And the better day is Thursday instead of Sunday. Merry Christmas. Appreciate all of you very, very much. Be well.